Hi, I'm Hazel. It's almost Saturday today, and that's true. I double-checked because I wasn't sure. This is only our first week of isolation, and I have already completely lost track of time. This week, we have an exciting piece of WoW breaking news, which is the wins of... Oh, I forgot what they called it, but 100% extra experience for a month. Blizzard announced this morning that from March 20th, today, until April 20th, all modern WoW players will have the Winds of Wisdom buff, giving you 100% increased experience gained. So now is an excellent time. If you're going to be spending some time at home, it's an excellent time to start leveling another alt or 7. I personally am planning to try and complete my collection of heritage armor, which means I need to get a Mechanome leveled, I need to finish leveling my Lightforged, and then looking at a Mag'har orc and potentially trying to unlock some Vulperis. So I'm pretty happy about that. The fact that it stacks with heirlooms means that this is going to be the nuttiest leveling we have ever seen, and quite possibly faster than the redesigned leveling process coming in Shadowlands. So now is the time for just all of the alts, and like I needed any more excuses. In WoW this week, the Echoes of Ny'alotha system was released with a couple of issues, and then some hotfixes throughout the week to correct those issues and replace them with lesser issues, and then, continue doing that until hopefully we have manageable issues. I know that it's been a really bumpy rollout of that system, and it's fine to be frustrated by that, especially you need to log into your main character before your alts will start receiving the Echoes of Ny'alotha, so people that logged into their alt first and opened their caches got a rough go of it. But the way I see it, this feels just like the result of a system that they wanted us to have as quickly as possible, because this isn't like a big new piece of content. This is a quality of life change that's meant to make existing content better for us. So I feel like it's better that they put it out kind of unfinished so that we could start making some progress on Echoes of Ny'alotha this week, as opposed to an alternate universe where they held on to it until it was perfect and then released it, in later down the road in a better state. That would have been a better PR move probably, but at least this way we get to start working on it early. And when you compound that consideration with the fact that all of the Blizzard offices are now figuring out teleworking, I'm not overly mad about it. If you want something to be upset about, there's been some DDoS attacks going around. That's not cool. On the topic, actually, of Echoes of Ny'alotha hotfixes, they just announced one more flexibility with essences. They're going to make them more available to characters whose specializations put them in different roles. So essentially, last week, the Nazjatar and Mechagon rep essences, if you unlocked one for one role, it would unlock all of them, but that was not true last week for for example, the Eternal Palace essences. And this hotfix that is going into effect ASAP says that essences from one source will grant all other essences from that other source. So that's kind of nice. And it also means, as they've noted at the end here, that if you play a class that has multiple different roles and you've only ever gotten the essences for your role, you are going to be able to get Echoes of Ny'alotha and then use those to buy off-spec essences for your main. So if you only ever played the example they gave here as a Shadow Priest and you never got the healing essences, you'll be able to spend your Echoes of Ny'alotha on those on your Shadow Priest. So that's some even faster essence catch up if you want to dabble in other roles. In my life this week, I'm dealing with a little bit of a sad development. My betta fish, Pepper, got very ill very quickly and he died last night, which is... I'm really upset. I'm really frustrated. I don't know why. On Wednesday, he only ate about half of his food, which was a bit unusual, but he seemed fine. And then on Thursday, he seemed much less fine. And then this morning, he was gone. So his water tested fine. We did water changes. The levels were normal. Nothing had really changed. So sometimes I suppose these things just happen. It really sucks, and I'm a bit heartbroken, but in the grand scheme of things, you do what you can do, and I'm glad that the rest of my animals and the rest of my fish are all doing well still. Aside from that, in keeping with current recommendations, both my husband and I are staying home until further notice. He is luckily able to work from home. I don't go out that much anyways, but any appointments that I did have to go out have been either canceled or pushed back. My road test, which was scheduled for the end of March, has been canceled. I'm just going to reschedule and get a new appointment once everything calms down, and then I had a hair appointment too. I was going to get my roots touched up, so we're just gonna have to make roots work for a while, and that's okay. For questions from this week, Ashley asks, I see in your Amazon list you have the Logitech Brio. I'm thinking of getting it, so I'd like to know the time frame in which you used it or get a suggestion in one of the videos you were using it in so I can get an idea of what it looks like in use. So the Brio is the pet camera that I use for like the cat, dog, fish camera on my live streams, which is not a full screen application. So I know I used it for videos and I used to use it for baking streams way back in the day, but I couldn't find any that I for sure remembered using that specific camera for. And then I thought I had a video comparing them, but I couldn't find that either. So I'm just going to take some footage with the Brio and then slap it in this video so that you can kind of get a feel for it. It's a perfectly good webcam. It's the best webcam I've ever used, but it is still just a webcam. One thing I will say about the Brio, actually, is I have found it to be durable. I don't recommend you do this, but I am constantly kicking over the tripod or tripping on it or tripping on the cable. And the cable, it plugs in with a USB-C cable that attaches at the back, so it's going to pull out the cable as opposed to damaging the cable. Well, hopefully damaging the cable. And then even if you did damage the cable, it's just a USB-C, so you can get another one. I've been abusing that camera for years and years now, and it has yet to be mad at me, which I appreciate. And Michelle asks, I'm super excited because I'll be buying a new gaming rig for my birthday in April. Happy early birthday. I know I should build my own, but I definitely don't have the time. I was curious, what system are you using and why? Are there any systems you've been lusting after? So the computer I'm using right now, I built this last year, and I did do a build video on my channel, which I'll link below. The gist of it, wait, what? The gist of it, it's got a Threadripper 2950X, a NVIDIA 2080 Ti, and then 64 gigs of RAM and an all-in-one water cooling unit. So I'm quite happy with that, but I definitely went a little big on that machine because I needed it for editing and because I am oddly fixated on putting out 4K videos even though nobody cares. So for a gaming computer, you can do very well with a pre-built machine. The thing that I would recommend is if you're going to buy a pre-built, look into those websites that allow you to designate and specify each individual part, because what you'll get sometimes if you just walk into like a big box store and grab a rig off the shelf is that you'll recognize the name of the processor and the graphics card, and it'll say a number of like how much RAM it has, and those are good things to look for. But they tend to then kind of cheap out a little bit on other parts, so maybe it has a lot of RAM, but the RAM's not very fast. Maybe it has like a cheap motherboard that has like a weird lack of ports. Maybe it has a cheap power supply, and those things can get you into trouble later down the road when you're trying to upgrade the rig to extend its lifespan. So I would look into a site where you can make sure that you recognize the names of everything that you're getting. You can check, like, even if you're not putting it together yourself, you can still kind of look through part lists on PC part lists on PC Part Picker and get a feel for what you want in your machine. And to answer a composite question that I got from a few different people, the Ny'alotha shirt that I was wearing last week was a piece of BlizzCon merch from BlizzCon 2019. All of my WoW stuff, all of my plushies, all of my WoW pillows, all of my canvases, like most of my clothes, certainly all of my WoW clothes, all of that stuff is from the Blizzard gear store. So if you don't see it there, then it's probably not available. They're odd with their gear store strategy. Things just go up and down and then back up again seemingly at random. But I also haven't bought from them since they switched to Fanatics, so I'm not sure what the experience is like anymore. And that has been my week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a question that you would like me to answer on a vlog, please leave it in the comments of the most recent one. I appreciate you guys. I hope you're all staying safe and as sane as you can. Feel invited to drop by a live stream if you need some background noise. I am on 6 days out of 7. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful, wonderful day.